Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome into another edition of the Big Man on Campus podcast. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus. It is Monday, May 6th, 2019. Another week, another dollar. Welcome in. Thanks for joining me today. We'll go through some MLB, get to some NBA, talk about that and more today on the show. Feel free to send in any questions or comments you might have. Hope you're having a great Monday. Another spring week here as we head closer and closer to summer. We are weeks away, actually just a few weeks away from Memorial Day weekend, really the unofficial start of summer. Plenty to be excited about there. I'm already thinking about the shore and being at the shore. This past weekend would have basically been 2 months till the 4th of July. So definitely looking forward to that. Many of you know I'm a big shore guy. I like going to the shore. I like being at my the house. So very excited for that. Only a few really weeks away. June, always a fun time to be down there. So hope you're having a good Monday. Pretty nice around here. And some sports to talk about. Yesterday, Sixers lose. Great call on the Sixers yesterday. LOL. Well, yeah, I mean, a 50-50 shot, and I take the one that loses. All right. Well, hey, great start to the show. Hey, you can't win them all, right? It's interesting, though. You weren't here after game 3, but it's all right. Fair enough. But we'll be back with the Sixers and Raptors tomorrow. Tonight we have the Celtics and Bucks. We also have an interesting series between the Warriors and the Rockets. That's an interesting series that I'm excited to talk about. Get to some baseball here as well. Funny B, Emza, what's happening, Emza? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. AJN, Jawan Emery. Don't you just love some people? Yeah, I mean – but we never hear from them when the Sixers win. So, look, if you want to talk shit, make sure you do it always. Be a troll that's there all the time, as opposed to just once in a while. I guess you showed your true colors by not being around in Game 3. Yeah, whatever. So thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button as well. I last night watched a really good movie. That I'll talk about a little bit later. We always, once in a while, we'll talk about movies or something random. So maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. I think a movie all of you would probably like. It was definitely, I guess, for instance, there wasn't a ton of action, but it was the subject length and subject type that I like. So maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. But do me a favor, if you're on Twitter, please retweet the show. Always a great way to continue to grow it. Obviously, we don't have football or college hoops to talk about, but there's still some meat on the bone, and I thank you all for joining me here, all of you that join me on a regular basis. Do want to also shout out and make sure you support our sponsor, betonline.ag. If you're in the market for a new book, maybe you're just looking to add to your arsenal, I would really recommend BetOnline. BetOnline is at the forefront, the earliest line industry-wise as far as originators. You want to get an overnight line right away, BetOnline is going to be the originator of those lines. I remember back, and I've said this before, during college hoop season, they are the book that puts out lines first. So you have a real ability to get on lines early before they move. Make sure you're checking out BetOnline. They have some big limits. You get payouts within 24 hours. You can use Bitcoin. They have all sorts of great live betting options. And if you use promo code BIGMAN, BIGMAN, and your new account, you'll automatically get a 50% deposit bonus. Plus, you'll support the show. So again, if you're looking for a new book, you're looking to add to your arsenal, make sure you check it out by Bookie. Plenty of things to bet on. Anything from esports to NASCAR to politics to basketball, whatever you want, BetOnline's got you covered. BetOnline.ag. Use promo code BIGMAN to get yourself a 50% deposit bonus. Obviously, rollover requirements do apply. Make sure you're understanding the rollover requirements. However, BetOnline does boast one of the lowest rollovers in the business. Again, promo code BIGMAN, betonline.ag. Let's get into the show. Let's go through a couple games here in the Major League Baseball. I actually did pretty well in MLB yesterday. I gave out what did I give out on the show here? I gave out over in Texas and Toronto. That one came in. I gave out the over in the White Sox and Boston game. That one came in. Baltimore got rained out. So shout out to the one guy that said it would get rained out. It definitely did. And then I had a loser on that what game was that? The Reds game, Reds Giants. So 2-1, not too bad. As far as the Sixers game, that one didn't come in. It was definitely a better day in baseball than it was in hoops. What a derby weekend. You had Max moving on. Okay, I'm not sure you mean moving on. I guess you meant maximum security. Okay, yeah, that one lost. So sucks to be you, man. But you had some other things as well. Let's get into the card here. We'll start with an interesting game. Brewers and Nationals. This one goes at 7:40 at Miller Park. You have a Washington team that had some travel issues getting in. I think they only got in this morning, so that's definitely a concern here. Obviously off of a series in Philadelphia. You know, you look at this game, obviously Scherzer pitching tonight against Chacin. It's really been kind of, for one, bad luck with Scherzer. I feel like he's pitched a lot better than his numbers might insinuate. He's got an ERA over 4, but you look at his advanced numbers. His FIP is very good. His pitches have looked good. He's just had a lot of bad luck with certain things. And you look at his strikeout numbers, highest in the major leagues, only has 7 walks. You know, Max Scherzer's a guy that I just feel like I don't normally want to bet against. But then, you know, you kind of peel back the onion and you look at this lineup for the Nationals. You know, obviously coming off a loss yesterday, Eaton, Robles, Kendrick, Gomes, Dozier, Defoe, Stevenson, Keyboom. Not a lot there to be excited about. So if you're Jhoulys Chacin at home here, you obviously have to be a bit excited about this start. You look at his last start, he pitched pretty well against the Rockies. Maybe it's something to build on. They're starting to get healthy again, obviously bringing back a Yelich. You look at the kind of the 1 through 4 in that lineup, really good. Gamel's giving you some good numbers. Yelich has been obviously unbelievable. Grandal's looked good. Moustakas has driven in 20 runs. So you like what this offense is going to give you. And look, at the end of the day, we all know that the Brewers bullpen is much better than the Nationals bullpen. I just think right now you look at this number as well. I mean, how many people are looking at this game from a square perspective and saying, oh, my God, I'm getting Scherzer at a pick 'em, basically? When does this happen? I'm just looking at everything else in this game, and I think that makes the Milwaukee Brewers a play here. I think this game is one late. And while I like Scherzer, I have a feeling this is a very close game in the 7th inning. He comes out and, you know, this game is a bullpen game. I'll gladly take the other things in this game that Milwaukee possess as opposed to just Scherzer. You know, Chacin is an interesting figure because last year he was really good. You know, coming into this year, though, he's struggled. You know, he was on the, you know, kind of the mend for a while, and he's still in the mend. You know, he's still struggling. This is still a guy that has, you know, an ERA above 5. But I think with a modified lineup, you have an opportunity here. He was very good in that last time out against Colorado. And again, I think we do need to peel back the onion a bit on Chacin. He's not been horrific. He had one really bad start against the Dodgers, but then came right back, only gave up 2 runs over 5. So, you know, opponents only hitting 218 off him. He's not been that bad. It was just really that one real bad outing that he had against the Dodgers in April. So I'm not willing to stick him in the fire. I'm just not. I like Milwaukee here. I'll grab Milwaukee at this price. Is getting your payout a hassle on BetOnline? No. Actually, it's quite easy. You get it quite quickly. Tell us about the movie. I saw a movie called The Wannabe, and it's a movie that I'd meant to watch last year, but I just forgot about it. And I'll get back to some MLB and NBA. I saw a movie called The Wannabe, and it was actually really good. It's based on a true story. It's about this kid that is really a sycophant for the mob. I mean, he has no legitimate mob connections, but he's a sycophant. He's obsessed with the mob. He ends up even moving to the same neighborhood as John Gotti just to be closer to John Gotti. He goes to his trial every day. And he basically becomes enamored with being a wise guy, even though he's not a wise guy. He starts basically sticking up, poker games and things like that. I would recommend watching it. It was quite good. He meets a woman and they become kind of intertwined. It's got some really good actors in it. Patricia Arquette's in it. She's a great actress, by the way. She was in Escape from Dannemora, which is a show that I recommended. She's really good in that. She's really good in this as well. Michael Imperioli's in it for Sopranos. He has a really good role in it. Some other really good actors. Vincent Piazza is the leading role. He was very good. Really liked it a lot. Big fan of the movie. Really kind of a desperate loner individual. And in a way, really is kind of the antithesis of just kind of a sycophant. Really good movie. I'd highly recommend it. Let's get into the rest of the games. Tried to tell you about Canelo minus 125. Yeah, look, Eric, great. I mean, listen, man. I like the underdog value on Canelo or on Dave Jacobs. I mean, Eric, it's interesting. We don't ever see you when you lose. You're always in here when you win. But hey, great call, man. Definitely nice work. Red Girl, welcome in. Reagan Anthony, Mike Butler. The Atlas Party, Corey Kelly. Thanks for watching. First play I'm going to go with is Milwaukee, basically even money. A couple others. Yesterday I recommended Baltimore. I liked Baltimore against Tampa. Game got rained out. I'm going to kind of look to a similar game tonight, and I'm going to take Arizona on the first five. Arizona against the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, a lot of people might think I'm crazy because I'm taking, anything against Tampa, and it's Blake Snell, and how can I back anyone against Blake Snell because Blake Snell was not good in his last outing, and he's definitely going to bounce back. But you look at the first five here. Okay, on the money line, I can get basically plus 175 at BetOnline. And I'm getting Merrill Kelly, who's been very good. Look at his last two outings. 2 earned runs over 12 under 30. He's been very good. I'm getting a good lineup here with Arizona. And, look, Blake Snell has been good. He's not been great. I mean, seriously. I mean, he's good, not great. And again, I like the lineup I'm getting for Arizona. Some big boppers in this lineup that can hit the baseball. I like Merrill Kelly. I think he's probably the best pitcher that they have right now outside of Greinke. Been a really nice pickup for them. And you look at Snell, again, off the bad outing against Kansas City, not saying that he won't pitch well at home. We know that Blake Snell is a really good young pitcher, but I like the value here I can grab on Arizona. I mean, Snell hasn't exactly been completely shut down. He's been good, but he's not been completely shut down. I think we can grind something out here. The value you're getting, I think, is worth it. I like what I've seen out of Kelly. What do I think about the Cardinals game? I'm always a fan of maybe kind of going against the Sunday Night Baseball team. It was the Cardinals last night, obviously, playing against the Cubs. I'm always a fan of kind of fading that team, especially when they travel. Again, not a far distance travel, but still had to travel nonetheless. You still had to get up, go on the plane, planning to go up, planning to come down. It's still traveling. It's still on a plane. And, look, the problem that I have with the Phillies here, though, is I'm not a big Vinny Velasquez guy. I think his numbers on the surface maybe have shown that he's been a bit lucky this year. You look at his XFIP numbers. You look at, a lot of his numbers. They're definitely a bit out of whack. You see that Last start against Detroit wasn't particularly good. They threw a lot of pitches in that game. And you're getting a lineup here that's obviously really good in San Francisco. Or I'm sorry, St. Louis. Lineup's not out for them yet, but you have to figure it's going to be good here. I like Mikolas. He is a guy that I like to back. I'm still not willing to give up. I haven't had a lot of luck with him. It's not a game I'm really on. I would kind of like, though, to kind of just avoid this one. I think, honestly, the over has some decent value here. I mean, you're not getting two great bullpens here. You got two lineups that can hit the baseball. Yeah, this Phillies team has a real problem in the bullpen. I think they have to address that at some point. They have to address maybe grabbing a starting pitcher and putting Velasquez in the bullpen. I just think this is a real problem for this group. Do me a favor, hit the like button, retweet the show, please. It would very much help me. Thank you. What do I think about I went over that one. Thanks for watching. You like cool full game. You have to be a little more specific. What's up, Underdog? Thanks for checking out the show. Another one I considered. Obviously, I think anytime Nova pitches, I think you got to look at this point to maybe fade him. But, I mean, don't the White Sox seem like just a team to pull off an upset here? I mean, for as bad as Nova's been, you look back to the one good start he's had this year, and it was against Cleveland. I mean, it seems like Cleveland always finds a way to make the opposite pitcher look like Sandy Koufax. This lineup stinks. I mean, it's that simple. You just don't have much in this lineup anymore. And by the way, outside of kind of one or two guys, there's nothing to really like about it. And look, the problem with this lineup is Ramirez isn't hitting like he was last year. I mean, Jason Kipnis over the last 2 years has been a mess. You lose Michael Brantley. Lindor's been good, but, I mean, he's really been the only one that's been good. Outside of him and Carlos Santana, you've had literally nothing for this baseball team. They've got nothing as far as, timely runs, timely hits. And this team's one of the worst offenses in baseball with just under 3.7 runs a game. You look at getting on base, I mean, worst in the league as far as hits are concerned. They're only averaging about 6.75 hits a game, which is dead last in the major leagues. You look at on base percentage, 25th. You look at slugging percentage, 29th. This is a bad offensive baseball team. I mean, aren't we looking at this game and kind of saying to ourselves, for as bad as Nova is, we still know that this White Sox lineup is pretty good. I guess I'm just not really ever seeing where Bauer is worthy of this kind of number. Bauer's a good pitcher. I'm not going to say he isn't. But it's really everything else with Cleveland that I'm just not that interested in. As the season goes on, you'll continue to see me bet these big underdogs. I've done it. I did it a few times with the Orioles. I was going to do it yesterday. I'm going to do it here. I like what I'm seeing out of the White Sox. This has the meaning to me to look and say it's the fourth or fifth inning and Nova's given up like one hit, and it's like, oh my God, he's mystifying the Indians. I mean, you look at I want to see one thing. Lindor, 6 at-bats, 167. Not a ton of success here. Some limited success. But definitely interesting. I felt that Toronto and the Sixers both looked bad second half offensively, especially in the second half. Yeah, look, I mean, the Sixers were not good yesterday. I had real problems with a lot of things that I've seen out of this team yesterday, particularly. I thought they came in really kind of thinking that the series was over, which is a brutal way of thinking, and really the total opposite of what I thought we'd see out of Philadelphia yesterday. But again, I think we have to also remember and think to ourselves, well, it is a Brett Brown-led team. So maybe that was just me kind of overrating and thinking that he would have this team prepared, and they weren't prepared. Obviously, Joel Embiid is beginning to be an issue. And I'll continue to say this until Ben Simmons and Embiid commit fully to being the best players they can be. they're not going to win anything. Could they win this series? Sure. It's tied up. They have as good a chance as the Raptors. But long term, there are still issues here. There are issues that are not being addressed by these two that have to be. Ben Simmons has been horrific in this series for large parts of it. He was again MIA yesterday when it mattered most. Joel Embiid, this is two different games where he's sick. This is a lot of games this year where he's not been able to play due to conditioning. And I don't think it has anything to do with Joel Embiid's, want to play. I think it just has to do with the fact that certain points he doesn't seemingly care about his health. Look, I'm no picture of health, but I'm also not an NBA basketball player. There's been a lot reported about his behavior, with certain foods and going out and things like that. He needs to kind of fully address that. Why is he sick so much? Why is he having these problems? It's pretty odd that he was sick one game, played unbelievable the next, and then sick again. Really odd. Look, I will continue to say this. Kawhi Leonard is a top 3 player in the NBA. I have seen so many shades of Michael Jordan, this guy, in this series. It's not even funny. We haven't seen a player, we've seen players that are really good, none of which, though, have resembled the way Michael looked when he played. I think you're starting to see that with Kawhi Leonard. He has been just I don't really know what else to say. He's been very good. And that's obviously an issue. But the Sixers really should have had to find a way to win yesterday, and they didn't find it. No comments from Big Man about Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors. Not surprising. Okay, well, I just talked about it for 5 minutes. I got to laugh at some of these people on these shows. Just some of the most moronic individuals you'll ever encounter. The internet really is a haven for complete fucking imbeciles. Complete fucking imbeciles with so much time on their hands that just literally bring random shit up. Maybe you weren't around yesterday, fuckhead, but I talked about this fucking series ad nauseum on Periscope. Do you fucking idiots listen, some of you? And actually, I'm really just talking about one. And it's this stupid fuck that obviously is a fucking reading problem. How many times have I talked about Kawhi Leonard, shithead? Maybe you should listen to all the other fucking media things I do. Because I talk about the guy ad nauseum, you prick. I try to stay composed with this shit sometimes, but it's fuckheads like this that piss me off. I'm sick of fucking explaining myself here with you fucks. Especially you. And only you, Winston. Get a fucking hearing aid. I've talked ad fucking nauseum about how good Kawhi Leonard has been. And how good they played yesterday. Because they played better in the fourth quarter than I could have ever asked for with the Sixers. Terrific performance yesterday. And the Sixers fucking wallowed under pressure. It's that simple. Big Men, they have a great pizza place in Santa Monica called Joe's. If I'm ever out there, I will try it. But I got to tell you, I can't really think that anything as far as pizza in California is good. But maybe you're right. I agree with everything you said about Embiid and Simmons. Yeah, it's hard to not agree. It's just really been irritating with the constant sicknesses and issues. What else do we have here? I get on here and Big Man is ranting. LOL, love it. Well, that's what I'm here for. I wear my heart on my fucking sleeve, as they say. Let's get into some NBA tonight because we have a few games to chat about. Let's go to the association. We have the Bucks and Celtics. And look, we continue to see that I just don't think the Celtics will beat the Bucks again. Could it be tonight? Sure. Will it be tonight? I'm not so sure. Defensively, the Celtics have major issues. They can't defend the Bucks. It's just that simple. And I don't know if bringing Marcus Smart back and having him in there is going to make that much of a difference. But as we do know, at the end of the day on offense, he is a bit of a liability. Bucks have been in very small spots. They've only been an underdog 6 times this year, but they've won 5 of them. I'm just not really sold that the Celtics are worthy of winning another game here. This has kind of the look of the other night with the Warriors and the Houston Rockets, but I just don't think it's a particularly great matchup for the Celtics. And I'm not sure that just because you have Smart back, that's going to make a huge difference. The Bucks have destroyed the Eastern Conference this year. If you bet every game on the Bucks against an Eastern Conference foe, for $100, you've made almost $1,800. So a lot of units there if you back this Bucks team against the East. I think if you take the Celtics, maybe you look early. You have to think there's a bit better of a defensive performance. I mean, last 2 games, they've been horrific. But I still think the Bucks shine through here. It's just that simple. I just don't think it's – I think they got their one game where Milwaukee didn't shoot particularly well, and that was game 1. And then the series figured itself out. Is Brogdon good tonight? I heard he's not 100%. Yeah, I don't think he's 100%. I think he's only coming back at some point to give them something, I don't think it's going to anything overly that he's going to come in and give you 22 or 24 off the bench. WOB says Bucks. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. If anyone has any questions, you want to step up to the plate and ask something or make a comment, feel free to do it. I'll try to not flip out. I try to not do that anymore. That guy kind of just annoyed me. So, but hey, people like when I flip out once in a while. So I don't do it much anymore. So there you go. You got the elicited response. But people like it. So I wouldn't be big man on campus without that. So whatever you have for me, bring it. We'll have some fun with you. Celtics are proving that the first game was an aberration. Exactly. It's 100% correct. Just like we saw, some of the other series. I mean, you can beat anyone when they don't shoot well. Simple. I know you're not a big horse guy, but how about the Derby? Yeah, I mean, it was definitely wild, wasn't it? Look, I don't know much about what you can and can't do, so it's hard for me to make a ruling on it. For me, it sucked because long-range Toddy actually did pretty well for like a quarter of the race. But Code of Honor was right there. Would have been nice to grab Code of Honor, but wasn't able to get one there. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an interesting way of figuring it out. I mean, we're literally reviewing animals. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I think obviously the naked eye, you couldn't have seen that, I guess, if you really had been looking. But, big underdog came in. What a surprise. It worked out for the books, I'm sure. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they weren't the stewards weren't the only ones making that decision. Just going to go out on a limb on that one. The other game, let's get that out of the way. Warriors-Rockets. I do not have a premium play tonight. I was close on a few. I was close on the Brewers in baseball. And the other one I was close on was the Houston Rockets. Saturday night, I had the Warriors. And, look, I was very vocal about Stephen Curry. I've been very vocal in my entire career about Stephen Curry. I don't like Stephen Curry. Never have. Never will. I think he's as overrated as they come. I think he's a terrific shooter. I will never take that away from Stephen Curry. Do I think he's the best shooter ever? He's probably right there. I think Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, God rest his soul, Drazen Petrovic, all those guys were terrific. Larry Bird. There were some terrific three-point shooters. But Stephen Curry obviously is right up at the top of that list. But as an overall basketball player, I don't think he's a top 5 NBA player. It's just that simple. I don't think he's a great defender. In fact, on Saturday night, he was horrific defensively. From a point guard perspective, he's good. I don't think he's anything special. I would take Damian Lillard any fucking day over Stephen Curry. But tonight, we look at this Warriors team, and we start to ask ourselves, okay, can they long-term win the series? Of course they can. In fact, I thought they would. The Rockets were impressive the other night, and they found a way to get the job done. You look at the bench, 21 points off the bench. Eric Gordon, 30 points. Chris Paul was very good. Clint Capella was terrific defensively. You look at the Warriors, though. You're starting to see some cracks develop with this team. They have no bench at all. Their bench fucking stinks. They have nothing there, maybe other than Sean Livingston once in a while, that I want anywhere near my starting five. I just don't want it. I mean, are we seriously still throwing out Jerebko and Bogut? I mean, if they can get Cousins back, I think obviously they're, that's huge. But he's not in there right now. Draymond Green, okay. I mean, whatever. Iguodala, great defender, but he's not giving you a ton offensively. Curry's been non-existent per usual in the playoffs. Outside of Durant going off the other night, that game probably wouldn't have been within double digits. It wouldn't have been. So you ask yourself, Houston coming back here with a real chance to even this thing up. Lines kind of bouncing around. I saw this was a pick'em about 2.5, 3 hours ago. Houston's still a favorite here. Gun to my head, I would take the Rockets. I think right now in this particular game, do I think they'll win the series? I don't. But I think in this game, this is a nice place. I think bouncing back, I think the Warriors get the job done in Game 5 or in Game 6. I'm sorry, and then I think they'll take the series. But I think in this particular game, I think Houston will tie it up here. Couple of comments. Actually, we got a lot of them here. Let's get into a couple. If you have any comments, throw them in here. What do I think about the over in the Yankees-Mariners game? Not interested. Not interested. Felix has been terrific in his career at Yankee Stadium. Sabathia's had very good numbers against his old club. I like what I see out of these groups. I'm interested in watching two really good kind of veterans of the game duel back and forth. I'm not sure why I said old club. CeCe never pitched for the Mariners. Why did I think he pitched for the Mariners? Whatever. Either way, he has very good numbers against the Mariners. I'm gonna look to back maybe an under here, but that's all I'd have on that one. Curry has trouble in the playoffs because of the physicality. I think, however, he's due for a few. Yeah, I mean, of course he is at any point, but I wouldn't really depend on it. Okay, thank you, Mike. Thanks for watching. What's a good online sports book? Again, as I said, I would take a look at betonline.ag. I've really kind of outlined some of the really good things that they do as a book. And if you use my show and listen to my show, if you use the promo code BIGMAN, you can get yourself a deposit bonus. So I would check that out, WOB, betonline.ag. Use my promo code BIGMAN. You could take a look at they're rated high. They have a lot of good things going for them. What else do we have here? I was on the Bucks and the Rockets. Tonight I'm on Bucks and Warriors. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be on the Warriors tonight. Do I think the Sixers take the series? I think it's a toss-up right now. I still think they can. I mean, but who knows when someone's going to get sick? I mean, it's amazing. All right, Eric, take it easy, man. What about the over/under on the Warriors-Houston game? Look, again, I think that the info's there. This has been an under series for a long time. I think over the last 35 games, like 25 have gone under. I think on the surface it screams over, but possessions are much more important. This game's going to be close. I think they're at a premium here. I would continue to bet unders in this series. I think the numbers kind of back that up. Do I think Denver is the better team in that series? No, I don't. At this point, no, I don't. I think Portland will win. I'm leaning under. Yeah, same here. Do the Mariners keep winning at the streak from last night? Yeah, it does seem like the Mariners win like a lot of games in a row, then they lose a lot of games in a row. Maybe Simmons is just not great, and Embiid not healthy. That's part of the game, and some players, and why some don't become elite. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I think we're well aware that, if people are injured a lot, they're not going to be great. Look, I think it's nonsense to talk about. Look, I really don't want to take anything away. I think at his full strength, I think Joel Embiid's the best big in the NBA. I mean that. But I think one thing he just needs to get a handle on is conditioning. We've seen it in his career. I don't think it takes anything away from him on the court when he's fully healthy. I think he's a great player. It's just an issue that he has where he's just not on the court, which is a problem. We've seen other bigs in the league play. I thought the other night when I was watching Jokic and I saw him play 65 minutes, and I thought to myself, wow, what a complete warrior. No bitching, no whining. He just fucking played. And they ended up losing, but I thought to myself, wow, it'd be so great if our big could do that. Where he's out there in the guts of the game. And really it's just, I guess, him getting sick. It's really been at the worst time because he's not played well in 2 games because of it, and it's the reason we're tied here. As far as Simmons not being great, I think that's obviously, I think that's still to be determined. I'm not a big Simmons guy. Again, I talked last year with Blackjack Fletcher on our show Viva La Vegas, back around when Kawhi Leonard was in the market to move on to another team. I considered and said I thought they should trade Simmons for Embiid or for Leonard. Package a deal with Simmons to San Antonio. They ended up not doing it, but I don't love Simmons. I don't like the fact that he just seemingly doesn't have any interest in developing a jump shot. Do I think he's a great point guard? Yeah, I think he's a good point guard, but he's got to develop the other part of his game. Do you think the Mets finally win tonight with DeGrom? DeGrom's had some trouble lately, though. It's not like he's been impenetrable. Paddock's actually been really good, really good. On the road, I'd almost lean San Diego, to be honest. But I need a little back. I'm not getting enough back to be interested. Embiid doing the airplane and the Hulk Hogan when he wins, and then events excuses when he loses. Another dumb take. Look, guys, again, if you're fans of the other team, let's stop. Everyone hates Joel Embiid when he's doing well, but it's always excuses. Look, it's not an excuse. He's sick. You could tell when he did the interview. It's irritating that he's sick a lot, but everyone hates Joel Embiid because they don't have Joel Embiid. Again, no. Being a Toronto fan, that's true because outside of Kawhi Leonard, you've really never had anyone very good. So, you have to you just kind of attack other players. Look, if you had Joel Embiid, you'd love him. I'm not going to try to sell any kind of thing that people should like Joel Embiid. Look, if you don't have Joel Embiid, you probably don't like him. But to say he's making excuses, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. The man needs to change his diet. That's definitely, I think, something that will help. Again, do I think I think every player eats poorly. I don't think any of them don't eat poorly. There's probably your few that don't. I don't think DK Metcalf particularly eats poorly. But yeah, do I think he's gotten the flu because he doesn't eat correctly? I don't know. I've not eaten correctly in my lifetime, and I don't get sick, knock on wood, very much. I got to find some wood. There's some. What's a good sports book? Again with this, I just told you. Listen, brother, you got to listen. BetOnline.ag. I just told you. Use my promo code BIGMAN, and you get yourself a deposit bonus. BetOnline. We've promoted it a few different times here. All right, guys, 5 more minutes or so. We'll hang on here and kind of wrap the show up. If you have any other comments, concerns, questions, issues, feel free to bring them to the group. Shout out to a few of my friends over at Barstool Sports. Looks like the move over to the new office was pretty much mistake-free. I heard that everyone's happy with the new office. So shout out to those guys. Hopefully they're enjoying themselves. Hopefully I get to come up there soon. What else do we have here? Guy works for book. Okay. I wouldn't know. What's your top MLB play of the day? I definitely like Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee. Yeah, I definitely like that one. Phillies lineup tonight against the Cardinals: McCutchen, Segura, Harper, Hoskins, Real Muto, Herrera, Hernandez, Franco, Velasquez. So pretty much typical for them. All right, guys, that's that. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for participating, as always. Most of you on here, plenty of great comments, whether we agree or disagree. Always good comments, nonetheless. And that's that for tonight. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Twitter at Jeff, JEFFNADU. All right, guys, that's it for me. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you Tuesday.